Because that, to me, is not being done right now. As Penny mentioned a little bit about my background, my father did migrate legally. He did it the right way. That's all we're asking here. Came to America and became a citizen. And he did instill, me and my mother, strong work ethics into all 7 of our children. And that is the only reason, I know it's the only reason why I was able to attain the accomplishments in running. Even if it was in running, and that was a hard thing to do, but I'm talking about in life as well. But the way my father arrived is a result of what he instilled in us, because he did it the right way. He understands and respected our country to do it legally. And it's not asking too much. As you know, the Stolen Lives Quilt Tour was a tour of 25 states. It was a very aggressive schedule. My husband and I accomplished that in 3 weeks. And the question we get asked most is, are we still talking? Of course. I love being with my husband. It was great. We visited the Capitol. We visited the governor's offices. We spoke with their legislative aides. We spoke with their constituent affairs staffers. We spoke with families. We spoke with Jim Binger, mainly. He is from Virginia. His daughter, Brittany, was raped, murdered. They needed dental records to identify her by an illegal alien who was previously deported with a criminal record. And he was out loose. That was 7 years ago. To this day, he has not gone to trial. And about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years, the judge overseeing his case almost released him because he is a deaf mute, cannot learn sign language. He was driving happy. He was here. He found his way here. He was a day laborer living with his illegal brother. I don't believe for 1 minute that he did not understand right from wrong. The reason he was almost released was because he could not participate in his defense. There is a new judge, and the family hopes to have some sort of justice, at least get this man put away. And James Binger goes weekly to visit his daughter, Brittany, and takes her flowers. And he just waits for the day he can tell his daughter that we got him, sweetie. That was what he told us when we had breakfast with him and his wife on this trip. We also talked with Clarissa Winchester, her sister-in-law, was killed by a drunk driver. Clarissa, being the sister-in-law, I thought, why is she so passionate about it? I understand, but usually it's a family member. Why you're really engulfed and passionate about this cause. But Clarissa stepped forward because she is part Hispanic. And she wanted to champion it and tell her sister-in-law's story because the family was being called racist. And that is what I see over and over. That's not right. This issue is not racist. This is not discriminating. This is about upholding our laws. Now, I said that we visited the governor's offices. A few people, too, told us right away, when we told them what we were doing, we're the Remembrance Project, we're championing American families. We want your states, your governor, your public servants to protect its citizens. We want to know what you are doing to protect your citizens. And two of them told us, well, it's a federal matter. Yes, of course it's a federal matter. However, what are you doing for your constituents? What is Governor Scott? What is he doing to help his constituents and protect them, protect their economy? After talking with them, every single one of them agreed and said it is a matter of upholding the law. So, showing our banner. This is what we call one of the banners that will make up the Stolen Lives quilt. We are making 50 of these banners, one for each state. And we will share those, and I'll tell you a little bit about it later on about that. But once they see this and listen to our stories and understand how illegal immigration affects us economically, our education, like you saw in the video, incarceration, it is limitless of how it affects and the adverse impacts it has on America and Americans, especially the lives that we're losing. Now, there are people who will say that they want to bring some common sense into it. It's not common sense to change the laws because certain people want to break the laws. This is not okay. And it's not sensible, like some groups say. It's not a sensible immigration solution. The solution is to control the borders, to not employ people who are not authorized to work in the country, to not give them social benefits that you and I and every other citizen in America puts in. It's exhausting our resources. We cannot do this. I have been to the Mexican consulate with a different group. Of course, they won't let me in with this group. And have seen the line of people out the door to fill up the Mexican consulate, first floor, line up all the way outside and down the sidewalk, waiting to apply for the Gold Card, which is the Harris County Hospital District Gold Card program, which allows them to receive free hospitalization and free medical care. And so many people don't know this. There are a lot of groups out there, and they are further organizing. Last year I went to a liberal workshop. Let me say, it was a Peace and Justice workshop or something. I say it's a liberal workshop. And in there was CARE, a head person from CARE out of Dallas there. There was SEIU. So you basically know the people who attended to the panel. And they talked about how they have reorganized under umbrella groups. One group is called QC Unidos, and there's about 14 to 16 groups. I don't mind people organizing. That's not the problem. I have a problem when our tax dollars fund these organizations partially, and they're working against our families. I saw this over and over when I went up and testified in Austin last year. asking for our laws to be upheld. The people who opposed this were people who had really were brought in or employed by these types of groups. We were funding our own demise, I say. And one group that I learned was especially disheartening to me was the Greater Houston Partnership. The Greater Houston Partnership is also part of that group. And they are, I believe it's called AIR, Americans for Immigration Reform. And it bothers me so much that I went to a meeting of another Republican women's group. I was invited by some of the members, and Stan Merrick was speaking there. And the Greater Houston Partnership has joined Obama's lawsuit against Arizona. That's just unacceptable. And that is mostly due to, I believe, Stan Merrick. And he has Merrick Freight, I believe. We have corporations who have their grip so tightly on our public servants, people we supposedly elected, and who they're supposed to represent. Now this is kind of hard, but I'm telling you, I've been out there, I've done the research, I've talked to families, I've been to these workshops. It was an awakening to hear what is going on and to see the big picture. And I challenge Stan Merrick because I do not, in a nice way, I do not believe that that should go unchallenged, because what happens is the rest of the chambers will follow suit. They are already organized on the other side who are pro-illegal, and it's changing our society. It is fundamentally changing America. I believe that mothers are the last hope. I love the guys here. You guys do a great job as well. However, people like me, Beatrice back there, Penny, all of you ladies here who are mothers, we are the protectors of the family. I'm fortunate enough to be able to have my husband help fund me. I can be here because he's working. And again, this was a vacation I wanted to take. I was supposed to be celebrating my 50th birthday. So this is my kind of fun, all right? And we're Texans. We're responsible. We're Americans first, okay? However, I have talked to people in other states, and they do hold us to a higher standard. They want to get behind us and be protected. In Texas, they call us. We're depending on you. I've heard this for 3 years. And I'm right there. Okay, I understand a responsibility. And as a responsibility as mothers and Americans to our families, we have to step it up. With the illegal aliens here, not all are violent criminals. I'm going through a murder trial right now that they're about to sentence the man who killed Shatavia Anderson right here, shot her in the back. Actually, it was a driver. The shooter was trying to schedule a party, so the driver now is going to trial. They shot the little girl in the back. What can a man possibly get from a 14-year-old girl not even a block from home? And they had no problem doing that. But I'm saying this over and over, we see this. And our tax dollars will help keep this man who killed her alive for the rest of his life. And Dr. Gonzalez over here, 4 men in jail right now. We are paying for that. In Shatavia's trial, there were 3 attorneys and 2 interpreters full-time in that trial. We are paying and paying. And how is it fundamentally changing? Well, our tax dollars are going up. We're paying more and more. We have ESL classes in schools. We're bending over backwards. The jobs that our youth used to have like mowing the lawns. I remember mowing the lawns and babysitting. I remember going to my neighbors and getting that little reference letter so I could go get my first retail job. That's what America is. We're losing that, and we can get it back. I'm thinking that there's a lot of people out there who maybe remember this. Those jobs, and why I say it's fundamentally changing America is because we're not training our youth to live the American way, to understand what it is to be American. This is the greatest country in the world. We are going to have to fight to get it back, and we do have to get it back. Now, I wanted to mention also today, however you feel about Rick Santorum and his wife Karen, they did a poll just recently, and in that poll of mothers, the national security issue was one of the top issues. So they recognize that we are in trouble. The protectors of our family recognize that. Okay, and I also, I'll wrap it up, but I want you guys to know how hard we are working. I want you to know that it's not enough to come and go to meetings and all, and that's why we took the Stone Life tour. We wanted to reach out to people and find out what's going on. We wanted to make connections across the country. And I mentioned the event. We're having an event at the end of the month. Actually, we might move that to October 13th. We are making 50 banners, one for each state, and after that event, we will, of course, photograph it and share it across the country. One banner for each state. We will send that banner to that state leader. On November 4th, Stephen King up in Iowa is trying to get passed a National Day of Remembrance for victims of illegal aliens. Last year we did recognize that day. We went into a church over in Pastor Bell's church, and we prayed for the victims. And he said in his sermon, he said, whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, Libertarian, or Tea Party, this is a problem. You cannot argue that upholding the law is just killing us, destroying America. His video is on our website. So simultaneously on November 4th, we are hoping that all 50 states will participate. Go to their Capitol stairs and pray for the victims. Bring this to the attention of our elected officials, all the way from your precinct to your state to national. We cannot give up on this or we lose our country. But we can do this. Before I close, I also want to recognize a lady who I recently met, and she was introduced earlier, Beatrice Wilson, and she is doing a spectacular job in the media, which we need more people who will champion our families in the media. And Beatrice has a radio show called All Fired Up, and you can go to her website, allfiredupmedia.com. And Beatrice, she has a couple of segments in her radio show called Military Monday, Words Matter, Conservative Connection, The Final Say, and something I'm very interested in is Politics, which is going to be a national effort. Instead of PC, she's changing that. Politics.
That's right.
So thank you so much, Bea, for doing it. I know it's tough work, but you're in the trenches. I understand. And also want to thank all of you for this opportunity and for allowing me to share this with you. I ask you to share the information, share our website, share what we're doing with the Civil Lives Quilt. And if you want to donate, please donate. Everything is at cost. Each banner is $150, and that includes shipping because we are shipping them, like I mentioned. So just, oh, I want to share one more thing with you. Yesterday, a young lady interviewed me for her paper she's doing up in UCLA. I just kind of thought, oh my gosh, here we go. And one question intrigued me, and she asked me, how do I identify myself? Are you Mexican American? Are you Hispanic? Are you Latina? And I said, no, I am an American. Yes, he presented it last year. It did not have a whole lot of support, especially nationwide. However, I will place that information on our website, so thank you. So yes, please get on board with that, and that is what will help push that through. Yes.
What do you think are some of the options available to local law enforcement to be able to make a change?
Great. I should have touched on that. Sanctuary city policy. Houston is a sanctuary city. In fact, I'll share a conversation I had with Mayor Parker not even a month and a half ago at a 3 minutes with the mayor. She probably won't be doing that again, right? But I asked her if she would please remove sanctuary city policy in Houston. In the last 7 years, the officers, HPV officers, have been killed by illegal aliens. That made national news, but you don't hear about it anymore. And that's another reason we went on tour, because whenever these crimes happen in one area, it's not shared. And nowhere can you find the statistics of how many Americans have been killed by illegal aliens. That's kept from us. So sanctuary city policy needs to be removed. And that simply is another, and Houston has an actual order. It's not read as sanctuary city policy. It's General Order 500-05. That tells an officer, forget about your oath, you need to not do this part of it. So removing sanctuary city policy is a huge way, and also making sure that E-Verify is used, but there has to be a repercussion for employers. On our website as well, there are 2 petitions spearheaded by another group called Stop the Magnet in Houston. But another mother, I note that, she has 2 petitions that she needs to get on the 2013 ballot. She needs volunteers to go to the polls in November and be there and sign up people who can vote for the mayor to sign that petition. You can download, if you can vote for the Houston mayor, download the petitions, sign them. There's blanks for about 4 other signatures. Get your neighbors who can vote for the mayor to sign them and mail them in. Those are the things that citizens can do to help make our streets safer. Yes, ma'am.
I don't know. I'd like to ask our mayor, is Lyng City a sanctuary city? No.
And I want to address that right now. I just got served. I just got served today a subpoena because the illegal organization here in League City is suing the League City over our solicitation ordinance. The state of Texas has this ordinance. They said it's it's not constitutional. They actually sued the state as well, and then they were able to get off it. So I'm going to have to go to court to protect our right to have our solicitation ordinance prevented gathering on our street corners.
Exactly. And actually, when we traveled around the tour, we did mention this. that the illegal aliens were suing the city.
Oh, that's it.
That is very wrong. Now, I never thought I would be out on the streets, but I am. We're out there. We have to challenge them and recruit. This is where your youth are helpful. You're conservative. We have to tell them that we're not going to put up with this. This is our country. I mean, you have to fight to get it back, ladies and gentlemen.
I have any questions, but I can restrain myself.
Maria has agreed to stay and answer any questions you have after the meeting. Can we do it then so we can get off the meeting?
Yeah, but I wanna know what percentage, and I think we all should know this, we always talk about it being Mexicans. What percentage of illegals are not Mexicans?
65 to 70% are Mexican. Mexico does, and a couple more tidbits. 25 Americans a day are killed by illegal aliens. There are other Hondurans, Guatemalans, Chinese, they're all over. We have to be very careful of the terrorist element. And, right, so I know that Mexico, there's about 6 states in Mexico where 2/3 of those, 65 to 70%, come from. So they are pushed out intentionally.
Thank you, Maria.